Happy New Year's Eve, everybody, and welcome back to Patriots Afterthoughts. Yes, we're here. It is week 17 of the NFL, game 16 of the NFL season, game 16 for the Patriots, and yet there's still one more next week. I am still not used to these 17-game seasons, but it gives you one more time to watch your Patriots this year. One more time for me to grace your ears this season. I should say this year. This was the last game of this year. Next time we see the Patriots, it will be 2024. And speaking of four, they remain with only 4 wins as the Patriots lose to the Buffalo Bills 27-21. Yes, they lose by a score of 2 missed field goals. Now, would that have made the difference? It would have given them 27 points, but would that have made the everything else happen the exact same way? No. Once a missed kick happens, I feel like after that isn't going to follow the exact same path. So if that kick was made, who knows how things would have turned out if either of those kicks were made. But here's the thing. They're both highly makeable kicks. And I'm going in watching this guy Ryland having no faith for him to make these kicks, even after he finally hit a huge kick last week against Denver. And, of course, I'm watching it, and I'm watching it thinking, well, if they lose, good for the draft pick. But again, I've said it many, many times. While I'm watching it, I'm still into it. I'm still wanting to see them win. I'm still wanting to see them come back. But oofa loofa, did they play some sloppy football. What was it? 4 turnovers, almost 5. But what's his name was down. Was it Pop with that fumble that almost happened? Just 4 turnovers. Terrible passes by Zappe. I like Zappe, and I want to see him be successful. Just be successful as a backup or on another team. I don't want either of these quarterbacks to be starting for me next year. I just wish the Mac experiment worked, or the Mac kind of era worked. They went with it. They went with him over Cam 3 years in, and it's just, it's over. I would imagine it's over. Is he a backup next year to whoever we draft? Is he starting and they draft someone? I don't know. I think the Patriots are still in the top 4 as far as draft seeding is concerned. And I don't know how winning would have changed that today. So at least we don't have to worry about that. They lost. I'm still on record as saying that that Belichick is going to be back next year. But again, I also thought that Brady was going to be back after the 2019 season. And I was wrong. So, this game, it made me think they're not that far off, because defensively, they look solid. Yeah, you think they gave up 27 points. Well, first of all, take one of those field goals, one of those touchdowns away, because that's a pick 6. So there's 20 points. Then they had such a short field on a few drives. So take at least 3 points away from there. Like one of the field goals, they were in field goal range the moment they got the ball. 17 points, maybe even less, that is really on the defense. That's pretty quality when you think of the who you think the Bills are supposed to be offensively. And Josh Allen, I don't know, he didn't look so great to me. And he diving forward ahead, all these crazy things. Like if I was a Bills fan, I'd be shitting myself every time he runs with the ball. He seems like a tough kid. Like he gets hit and he gets up, but he was aching there at the end. And it's like next week is a big game for them. Next week decides the AFC East. They went from really kind of not looking that great to marching right back, and the Dolphins got destroyed today by the Ravens, who, at this point, my Super Bowl pick is Ravens 49ers. That's going to be the Super Bowl as far as I am concerned, but you never know. You never know. Things, look at the Ravens to the 49ers last week. They pretty much owned that game. And then they destroyed the Dolphins today. The thing I like about football, or the thing I realize that makes me, kind of examine the fact that I love NFL football, is that even when my team sucks and they're out of it, I'm still interested enough in watching all these other games. So I am always interested to see who will end up in the playoffs, because I like watching all the playoff games. And I like watching the Super Bowl. It's so much more fun when your team's in it, though. Even that one playoff game we got with Mac, where they got pretty much manhandled by the Bills, at least they were in the party. At least they were invited to the party. They were in the dance. They had a chance. I'm not really talking that much about today's game. I mean, what's there to say? The defense looked pretty good. And it's in moments, the offense shows a little spark. You see little moments. You see all these players. Do you think, who's going to be back next year? Is Zeke going to be back next year? Is Mac or Zappy going to be back next year? Are they going to be backing up someone new? Is Bill going to be back next year? I would like to see Bill and Bill. I'd like to see Bill and Bill get a second chance together with a new quarterback, and let Bill kind of go out on his terms if he wants to. Unless Bill wants to be done. But then even if, let's say Bill says, I'm retiring, they're going to say, every goddamn radio station is going to be like, yeah, he's retiring. Sure he is. They're letting him save face by saying that. So no matter what, you can't get off scot-free from all the idiot talking heads. And I'm an idiot. But I'm not an idiot talking head, especially when it comes to sports. I'm not going to just take whatever argument suits my agenda and go with that and make it fit. I have no agenda. My agenda is watching the Patriots win. My agenda is wanting to see the Patriots succeed. And they didn't succeed today, but this season is Dunsky. It's over. It doesn't matter anymore. And yet, they're playing the Jets next week, and it's always good to beat the Jets. Always good to beat the Jets. But as far as when you're going into that final game, what does that mean for next season? Because, we're on to 2024. We're on to the 2024 season. As a wise man once said, we're on to next year. So if it doesn't change anything, go out there and beat the shit out of the Jets. Okay? Here's the thing about the Jets. They actually had a more quote-unquote successful season. But there's some sort of dark, enjoyment in seeing how it unveiled for them, because they were supposed to be, right up there. They had Rodgers as the quarterback, and it lasted 4 plays. And anyone who picked the Jets to go to the Super Bowl, you thought, well, Rodgers was the quarterback. Okay, but they're still the Jets. And they find the jetsiest ways to jet themselves in the jet. Yes, I'm using Smurf logic to talk about the Jets. So, I'm all over the place because, look, it's New Year's Eve, okay? I am about 20 minutes away from going to get Chinese food. Yeah, you're going to say, that's really early, Mike. Yes, it is early. Getting it early and just kind of enjoying it a little bit, maybe a little bit later. And I'm going to, we're not going anywhere, doing anything special for New Year's Eve. My whole thing is, watch something with my wife. Watch that Dick Clark New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest. It's so corny. It's so awful. But we like to, it's almost like people watching. We like to watch it and make fun of people. And then she'll eventually fall asleep, and I'll wake her up at 11:59 to say Happy New Year, and then back to sleep again. But I'm still on vacation. I don't get 2 full weeks, but I had all last week off, and I have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday off of this upcoming week, and then back to work Thursday and Friday. But then, a month and a half, I'm on vacation again. So it's just looking forward ahead, looking to the future. That's the goal of me at work. That's the goal of me as a Patriots fan. See how I brought it back? I brought it back. I did it. I did it, Mike. Now, I'm not sure how much else I really need to talk about this. The quote-unquote nuts and bolts of the game, you can get that anywhere else. This is just a guy who watched this game and he's watching it, looking up from the play, looking down at his Star Wars book he's reading. Oh, it's another play, looking up, looking down, not getting overly hot, not getting overly cold. Yes, I still yelled at the screen, and yes, it was cool to see a run back right away. That seemed to be the only good thing for quite a while. But it's kind of hard to watch your team making successful plays and not rooting for them. So I was, but I'm not disappointed that they lost. I'm really not. It's just that you want the Bills to lose too. I was tweeting with a friend of mine, Chris, and he was saying, not Chris that's been on my other podcast, and maybe not the Chris who might hear this, another Chris. And he was saying, "Why? No, who cares about the draft? It's always good to beat the Bills and the Jets." And I was like, "Yeah, I guess. I don't know." But when I'm watching it, it's hard to not turn off the Patriots fan feeling, which I had. I had it, and I also had Doritos. Pretty exciting. The greatest drink in the world, the Coke Zero Cherry. It is like technically the greatest drink in the world. I believe it won. It was ranked in the top 2 drinks in my brain: Fresca and Coke Cherry Zero. And okay, I had a hard-boiled egg. There, I had that too, which is kind of gross when you think about it. Not because it's a hard-boiled egg, but because I bought it pre-hard-boiled at the grocery store. That's disgusting, but it was good. Which begs me to think at this point, what the hell am I still doing talking? The fact that you might still be here is shocking to me right now. If you are, it's just you really enjoy the ramblings of a 40-something man-child. And that's just what it comes down to. Look, we're going to do this again one more week, next week. Then you probably won't hear from me for quite some time. You might. If anything huge happens, maybe I'll pop in and just give my thoughts. But I appreciate if you, stay subscribed to the podcast. Think of it like a gym membership. You don't have to use it, but just kind of set it aside and leave it there. Or if you're finding this on YouTube, because now every episode of Patriots Afterthoughts, well, at least this season's Patriots Afterthoughts, every new episode is now available on our YouTube channel at Fans Not Experts. Yes, and you can find this and every other podcast I do, because I'm not some sort of cool jock who likes to talk about sports. I'm a big goddamn nerd. So everything else I do for my podcast and on my website and on the YouTube channel is all nerdy stuff. So I would appreciate it if you check that out as well. And you can find me on Twitter at Mikey_C. You can find me on Blue Sky at Mikey-C. Yeah, Blue Sky. Oh, what do you think of that? That's nerdy. And you can find the show on Twitter at Patriots_pod. One more week to put up with me. And then we're on to 2024. All right, everybody. Happy New Year. I'll see you in 2024 myself. I'll see you next week. But until then, go Pats.
Fans Not Experts.